Welcome back to my channel. I'm Will Photo and I'm the donkey from Shrek's favorite photographer. So listen, I have literally no idea how to film a video. I've filmed the video 2 times this week and none of them have turned out how I wanted them to. So I'm here to film a 3rd video. Hopefully that comes out today on Friday. I figured out there's some dust inside of my lens. Where dust shouldn't be. My new lens, by the way, the 24 to 72.8. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do about that. So I'll keep you updated on that. Please wish me luck. Before we get any farther into this video, I need to give a shout out to the subscriber of the video, and that is Keegan Widmeyer. Thank you so much for turning on post notifications. If you want a shout out in my next video, turn on post notifications and comment down below that you did so, and you'll receive a shout out in my next video. Today we're gonna talk about how I got my first camera, the story behind me buying it, and look at some of the first photos I took with it. So let's hop right into that. It was 2016. The Cavs were in the playoffs. This is very crucial. The Cavs were in the playoffs. I can't remember if they were winning, if they won the championship that year. Actually, I think they did win the championship 2016. Let me figure it out. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, so it was 2016 and the Cavs were in the playoffs. This was on the road to winning the championship. So I just had to double check that. Okay, so Cavs were in the playoffs. They were on their way to winning the finals. Me, my brother, and my dad went.
My brother and my dad. What? Me, my brother, and my dad? How about my brother, my dad, and I?
Went out to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch one of the playoff games. At this point, I had been shooting on my iPhone. Maybe an iPhone 6. I'm not really sure the exact iPhone I had at this moment. But at this point, I was shooting on an iPhone. I was editing on VSCO. I had been debating getting a camera for so long at this point. It actually got to the point where we were sitting at Buffalo Wild Wings watching this game, and it finally was halftime. And I was like, well, I'm going to go over to Walmart and buy a camera. Took my ass to Walmart. They had one camera in stock left, and it was the one I was looking for. It was the Nikon D3300, which it is right here. So they had this camera, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to buy it. Like, I was like, dude, I want a camera. Like, I have to buy this camera. So I bought the camera, drove back to Buffalo Wild Wings, left the camera in the car. I think we stayed for the 3rd quarter, and then we went home. It was like probably 10 or 11 at night, and I was stressing, dude. Fucking stressing. Because I pulled the camera out of the box, got it all set up, put the battery in, put the fucking SD card in. I could not take a picture for the life of me. Like, every time I clicked the shutter button, it was just a black screen. Like, I literally could not figure out this camera. And I had sat there for hours trying to figure it out. Probably more like 20 minutes. Luckily, I was too lazy to drive back to the store. And I literally said, I'm gonna go return this tomorrow. Like, I can't use this. Like, this is just too difficult. Before I went to bed that night, I still was playing around with it because I didn't give up. And I ended up getting it to work. So I'm gonna take you on a little trip to look at the first pictures that I took with this camera. The very first picture was a picture of a hat on a table. This is the first picture I took with my camera. Beginner photographer at its finest. So I messed around with it that night. I kept playing with it and I was like, I was still on the edge. Like, should I return it? And should I not? Should I keep it? Should I keep fucking around with it? I ended up playing with the camera more that night and I took this shot of some change. I was just testing the camera out. So I thought it was pretty fire at the moment because it was really clean and sharp and I got the camera to work. But looking back at it, I'm like, wow, that's just changed, my guy. Those are the first 2 pictures I took on my camera. Those were literally taken the same night I bought it, the same night I thought about returning it, the same night I couldn't get a fucking picture to come out of it for the life of me. I'm so thankful that I figured it out, that I got these 2 pictures out of it that night. Let's take a look at some of the other pictures that I took on this camera. So this one is my first car. Well, the first car I ever purchased myself. My first car was a 2007 Honda Sonata, which I don't have any pictures of. This is a 2014 Ford Fusion. This is the beginning of Will Photo, the car photographer. This is the first car I ever shot. This is another picture I took, a little mirror selfie, you know, classic. I used the flash on top of the camera. This is the lens that was on it, a Nikon 50mm 1.8 lens. But as you can see, look at this guy. This is me in 2016. I looked like a child. This one, I have no idea. I don't know what I was thinking when I was like, I literally remember, I was like, hey, Ben's my brother. Can you grab a cup? We're going to take a cup outside in the hot tub and you're going to dump some water and I'm going to try to capture it. And then he ended up dumping it on his arm and we came up with this masterpiece. It's an amazing thing when someone gets their first camera because they create some truly iconic content. The next picture is the first picture that I was actually stoked as fuck about. I still think this picture's dope. This one I was super proud of. This is like one of the first ones that I was like, damn, I'm really good at this shit. This is it. Obviously like a nice close-up product shot of the Nikon 50mm 1.8 film lens. Super clean, super sharp. At this point, I didn't know how to remove dust. Yeah, this is one that I was super stoked on, and I still think it's a really solid shot. Okay, and then another shot that I was super proud of was basically a reverse roller. You'll see. So right here, we have a bus going through the city. I actually took this literally on accident. I put my camera on a trash can and then was gonna see if it worked as a tripod. And I pressed the shutter button as a bus came by and this happened. This was like one of the shots that was all over every single one of my pages when I took this. One more photo we're gonna look at from the humble beginnings of my photography. This is a shot that I did with my sister. I saw the idea on Instagram and I just did it myself. They did it with a stick. I did it with a fucking samurai sword. I did this with my sister. Obviously she's holding the sword. We did it on a tripod. We did 2 shots. She held the sword. I did one without and I just erased it and it looks fucking phenomenal. So at this point I was slowly progressing and getting better, getting more creative. So that's all the photos I have for you today, and that's the story of how I got my first camera. I'd love to hear how you got your first camera, so comment down below a quick story about how you bought your first camera, why you bought your first camera. Did you think about returning it like I did? Thank you guys for tuning in on this beautiful Friday. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Keep shooting, keep spreading love and positivity, and I'll see you next Friday.